Well, hello, 1111 Hub and Extended Porch. I'm Red Dirt Preacher. I'm a layman who talks about my journey, and my journey is crazy. It looks like Alice fell in the rabbit hole. A little bit of Mad Hatter. So I'm just gonna be real and raw and just bring you some truth from my life experience. So it's really not up for debate. If you don't like it, change the station. If you do, respect the journey. It's hard, and you know that. What I'm going to tackle today is something that's got a little bit of bullhorn on it, and if I talk fast, I'm dyslexic and I'm passionate, so if that annoys you, sorry. But right now, I woke up this morning and Spirit really put it on me. The first 5 to 10 seconds, really pay attention when you wake up in the morning, because the first 5 to 10 seconds is like a real good flood of some unnatural but lovely thought, where you get a little inspired. So I would say pay attention, and I call that the water moment. It's a watermark. It's from the Spirit. You gotta love him. And the reason that it happens in the morning, or perhaps late at night, or perhaps in the shower when you're around water, hands in the dishwater, the reason it does that is because you're not really at the wheel of your own wheelhouse, and for a second you just might let the Spirit in. And the Spirit loves to use those times where our walls are down, our egotistical, our ego wall, is down, and they're able to do that. And for everybody that wants to juck me in the chin, that's why everything in balance, and that's why cannabis and everything like that is in balance and lovely to the shamans from days of yore all the way to the shamans of days and now, is because it brings down those walls of the egotistical ego mind, and it allows love and light to get in. Amen. So let's move on. The Spirit wanted me to tell you this morning, real hard, and this is going to be like if I had a ministry. This is like what is always on my tongue, is I'm sitting here in living person, a person who's had a living experience, and I mashed up by accident, accidental preacher here, I mashed up spirituality and the Bible, and I just, Jesus and chakras, and just kind of spirituality, it went together for me, and I didn't look like any place in the world. There's a lot of clubs and pages and .coms. Go look, and even if it doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. It still exists in the world, okay? Dodo birds and water boatman bugs and mosquitoes and little... I don't see stuff, but I know it exists, okay? Check the ocean, ding ding. So, there's a lot of people out there in the world that are resonating with what this is, 1111. With the 1111 code of seeing it with spiritual awakening. And if you haven't even noticed about the 1111... like I said, there's thousands and thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people attached to all kinds of hundreds of thousands of groups and pages. I'm kind of telling on them right now. Cat's out of the bag. But I'm saying that there is, for a number of years now in the background, like mayflies underneath the water. When mayflies are ready to hatch after years and years of gestation, mayflies actually all come up at one time. Therefore, not to get eaten by a big fish. And I believe that that's what the Spirit has done with everyone that's running the 1111 water and the 1111 code. You guys know a lot of twin flames and things like that. We're on a good mission that's walking right towards unconditional love. So I might be catching a younger crowd here. It's like, what if I'm speaking a different language to you? That's okay. It doesn't make me wrong. It's just maybe ages and stages we're not all here yet. But for those of you that can hear me, you know what I'm talking about. So. What I'm trying to prove through myself is there is a spiritual mashup and a union between Jesus himself, the living energy, and being spiritual, and recognizing that the chakras exist because that is our soul. Once we recognize we have a soul, we understand that that is our spirit. Our spirit is our soul, and our soul is our spirit. Hello, the movie Ghost. Okay, so. And it says in the Bible there that God is spirit, Matthew 4:24. So being spiritual to me is being of God, of the Spirit, of the Holy Spirit. Jesus said, "I leave you the Spirit, not that I leave you religions." So to me, I'm on a good path, and I understand the ways of the world are not very popular for this, but that's why I stand true in the Spirit. I'm popular for this. I couldn't really go to church and be me because I bring too much spiritual growth, spiritual IQ. I talk about chakras. It goes on that way. So I don't look like them. I can't go hang out necessarily with 1111 groups and clubs and because for one I get called spam all the time. There's that. But I really can't hang out with them because I talk about Jesus too much. And I actually lost friends about 5 years ago. Literally, they said to me, "You talk about Jesus too much." Well, that's fine. I'm in love with him. He's the guy in my life. And when you have a friend that's in love and they talk about their someone, it's all the time. So I made people drunk on the name of Jesus when I was falling in love with him a couple summers back. So, guilty. But point of this being is the two to me in my walk and in my mouth and in my living experience here on the porch. I'm going to tell you how the two were merged and combined, and how I think there's no wrong in that. I think the devil did a great job making sure that spiritual truth was separated from religious church for thousands and thousands of years, and that really keeps us disconnected from the fullness of truth. Having half the truth, it really sucks. Ask any bad relationship you've ever had. Nobody wants the truth. We want the whole truth, and that's what makes us empowered and powerful. So if we take the spiritual knowing and you add it to your scriptural knowing, then you get the whole truth. And I believe that religions were only set up, not, people say not only to control the masses, but really each religion and each religion's church is accepting God's love, but at their level of understanding God's love, at their level of being comfortable of allowing God's love in. And if you took down all the what I call like privacy fence, like panels, if you took down all the panels of churches and quite religions, you would actually see that we all have the same love consciousness. We all have the same love consciousness. There's a lot in the Quran that matches almost matches the Bible, and how we treat each other with love. The love consciousness is there in every way. But I believe, like I said, without stumbling here, that religions are built in. Each one has their own code and path for how they will allow God in. And all paths lead to Christ. And I know that I'm an all path kind of girl. Anyway, Spirit woke me up this morning to tell me, and it definitely want me to tell you, that we've always left the heart behind. We've always left the spirit behind. And the spirit of us is the soul of us. And that's the heart of us. That's the heartwood of us, the people, of us, the living church. And as us, the individual, we've left it behind. We've spent 1,000 years now growing in industrial ways, growing in like the gravitas. But we even grew up in IQ and AI. We've come a long way from barbaric Middle Ages to doing finite surgeries the way we do. We've come a long way in medicine. We've come a long way in technology. We've come a long way in AI. But you know what we left behind? We left behind a spiritual IQ. We've got all this AI and all this understanding and knowledge. We understand quantum physics. We have electricity. We have so much. We're so rich. But it's almost like if it's hollow. And I think this year has really taught us kind of knocking on the wall, like when you want to find a stud, you can find out when it's hollow. I believe that 2020 definitely did knock on all of our heartwood, and we can check to see where the spots are hollow. And one of the things here, I believe that we left behind was our heartwood. We left our heart behind, our spiritual IQ. And that is what Jesus is putting back into people now, living everywhere across the globe. Hello, 1111. It's making you walk towards a high level of love, and you're learning unconditional love when you get on the path. And that's the path to the Lord, and that's the red road. That's the road to curriculum, and that's God washing you. And it happened to me. It happened to me, and that's all I'm doing is sitting here showcasing you how important it is to me and the ambassador I speak of, which is Jesus. He wants to marry spirituality back into us, back into the land, back into our homes. God is spirit, Matthew 4:24. So instead of being so religious and hell-bent on teaching each other that we're right and we're wrong, well, there's no right or wrong way to love Jesus. He'll accept you as you are. He already did it at the cross. He said, come to me as you are. And then I have people say, yeah, but you need to change on the path. Well, I'm going to. I'm hungry. You know what I mean? And I believe Jesus still said a declarative statement, come to me as you are. Don't just show up to me as you are. Always come to me as you are. I've been walking with Jesus for 7 years, and I've been changing every single day, really hard, really hard. And it's not like he said, come to me as you are the day I showed up, and it stops now. I'm 7 years deep with the Lord, and I still present with, he still says to me, come to me as you are. Well, I'm on my way. I'm ing. It's a verb. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. So we never have to be perfect, okay? For one, stop listening to that lie. And I think what needs to come out of my mouth here is that spirituality has been discredited for enough, and not on my watch, and not on the river that I'm raised out of, no more. And if I sound wrong, that's okay. I'm living my life my way and didn't need permission, and I don't have to give an apology. The water tells me to stand firm like that of a bull and stand up for spirituality and put it back in a respective house. Florence Nightingale, and I won't get into this too much, I left a video up before, but Florence Nightingale took nursing and doctoring, and she flipped it on its head. It was not anything that was respectable of the time. It was a lowly, kind of weird thing to do until after Nightingale. She flipped it, and that's why doctors get paid what they get paid now, is she put a respective house around something that wasn't respected, that needed to be respected. And so I hope to do that with spirituality. Okay, spirituality in itself gets you alive, and you're the church. We are the living body of the church, not near Walgreens and happy and confused. Church is an inside job. You're an inside job. Ask Jesus, okay? So my job here is to stand firm that spirituality needs to be put back in, I guess, the religious house. And if we're trying to find God, and we're on that look for him, and we want to be merged with him while we have this life, then we need to do it in a spiritual manner. And we do a spiritual walk to get a spiritual mantle. Hello, they're connected. Spiritual mantle, spiritual walk. God is spirit. Be spiritual. You know, so I don't like to be juxtaposed across the chin with traditional religion when they're saying that spirituality is wrong. There's no wrong ways to get to God. All roads lead to Rome, and he made sure of that. I'm encompassed in all ways to get back home. God's not going to lose me. Even the most ignorant of us is not going to be lost in Jesus. Okay? So what I'm doing here is speaking up for spirituality, that it is real, it's not crazy, and you're going to feel like, because I felt like I was like, quote, cheating on God. I felt like that I was like becoming a religious refugee, and that no one would take me in, because if I go to the spiritual side of social media and churches, they don't want me because I talk about God too much. If I go over here to churches, I talk too much about being spiritual, and they don't want me either. So I just said, be what you need in the world, be what you seek. I wonder how many other people are just like me. So the porch is to represent this place in the middle where spirituality meets the scriptural text, and you plug them in like electricity cords, and you go, aha, and you're turned on in your life, and you're living supernatural in a natural world. And I believe that's exactly what Jesus wanted for us. And I'm over the days that spirituality has been pissed on by the dog devil, so everybody stays away from it. Spirituality was killed at the cross, in front of religion, and by religion, through religion, for religion. Okay? And that's not because they were, yes, the Romans, they were trying to control the masses, but also, like I just said, Romans couldn't accept God that way. So they just killed it. They killed spirituality that day. Okay, and they've been killing spirituality throughout the ages every time that we lit a woman on fire. Okay? And I'm sure we've been killing spirituality. Religion's been killing spirituality. Normal has been killing spirituality, because if you're going to be spiritual, you're going to be looking crazy to the world. And I explained that in another video too. So I'm more or less here to not only build a church that says, whatever out front and come inside. I'm asking you guys to get on your horse and ride, the one that that you rode, showing up here on the porch. You know that you're in alchemy for the Lord. You know that you're on a holy rabbit hole. You're on a journey. You know that you're going to play part and piece to the special times that we're in, and you know this, and I don't have to expound on that. That's between you and God. But I'm speaking of it here, out loud, cat's out of the bag. Spirituality right here on the porch is spirituality in Jesus. Do you know how close God sits with religion? You say religion, people think God. You say God, people think religion. And I spend my ministry peeling them apart. I did another video called Fire and Smoke, and I'll put that up here so you guys can understand what I'm talking about. To me, Jesus and spirit need to be sitting side by side, need to be synonymous, and right now they're not. So don't feel weird, feeling like a religious refugee when God is changing you. Good, that's because you're becoming more spiritual, not religious. And you're allowing your own restraints and constraints and paradigms that you were taught to release and let go. You're letting the walls come down, and then you're letting God teach you, and spirit teach you, and source teach you everything they want to, how they want to. Okay? And that is a beautiful thing. That means that you've come into trust, and you trust your intuition, and it's a beautiful walk. So I'm here, and I'm just stating that spirit is the love we're missing in the world. It is our nation's heart, and we have left out spirituality. We have left our heart behind, and even at that, we don't have but a toddler's heart here in America. We have like a toddler's heart. Have you been outside in our world right now? Not a lot of compassion, and me, mine, and you're right, and I'm wrong. We have a toddler's heart because we don't have a spiritual IQ. We don't have a heart IQ. And I believe that that's soon going to change. Either be the mayflies, the 1111 water that will come out. There's a lot of shamans and teachers and healers and guides now of of love consciousness, of Christ consciousness, and that'll come out and manifest in movies and radios and people, that'll come out as people step into their power and put their gifts back into the world. We'll slowly change the world in 3 to 5 to 7 years, so to rise up spiritually, to have a spiritual IQ, to have a spiritual consciousness. And we're might be a little bit before our time here, but we're definitely leading the way. And that's why this is like a holy haberdashery. Come in, change your clothes, put on your power patches, get on your horse, and let's ride, because you know that love consciousness is hitting all over the globe right now, and we are in special times. So I'm tired of it always being dismissed. Right here at the porch, I give it absolute respect, and the respect that it deserves. And it is the love map on how we get to Jesus Christ spiritually. Everything is spiritually speaking. We're all connected. COVID taught us that. So spirituality and spirit is our soul, and our soul is our heart, and therefore we left our heart behind. And Jesus means to put the spirit back in America, to put the heart back into America, to put the spirit back into people, back being under God. You understand? So that's a hard one to get out sometimes, but hopefully I did the trick. So I stand in a place where I understand that the devil split the truth a long time ago and made sure that the biblical text went on one side of the world, and the spiritual truth, the chakras, went on the other side of the world, and it was divided, and we would never know the real truth. And if you go through and understand that there's love consciousness, and you close the gap, you put them together, you understand that that's the whole truth. His spirituality does match with Jesus, the Bible. Notice the people over here on the Western world, we have the Bible and we have Jesus, but we don't have the spiritual walk. In fact, we go, And if you go on the other side of the world, they embrace spirituality and its walk and revere it, but you give them the Bible or give them Jesus, and they're kind of, So to me, I understand, prophetically speaking, that the truths were split in half long time ago by our adversary, and we are in special times now, and the Lord is allowing, with his energy on the earth that manifests and looks like 11:11, he's closing that gap and making us understand the trueness and the wholeness of truth. And that is that spirituality goes directly with Jesus Christ. They're one and of the same house. God is spirit. So on a spiritual journey we go, and we are to bring spiritual IQ and spiritual consciousness to the world. And that is happening, my friend. So, all right, like I say, much love. Stay kind and stay on your mind.